Hello and welcome to a special presentation of In the Money Media. This is a mashup show we're doing with our friends over at Race Lens. We've got this great promotion and it's still going on. This is an opportunity for you to not only get a big discount on an annual Race Lens subscription, so incredible database, past performance product, but also this is going to get you a year included of In the Money Plus. And what a time to be starting up with In the Money Plus. We're going to have daily coverage of Keeneland and, of course, our famous, at this point, Kentucky Derby packages and Breeders' Cup packages. You're seeing the info on screen there. You can save $300 and get the $200 value of the In the Money Plus package. The best place to go, easiest place to go, inthemoneypodcast.com/racelens to check that out. PTF here alongside Race Lens power user Matt Vagvolgyi. Matt's done some digging about these Triple Crown prep races coming up this weekend. Matt, how excited are you about getting involved as these Triple Crown prep races get a little bit serious heading into this weekend?
Yeah, getting more excited. Like we talked last time, Pete, it's a great time for U.S. racing. I think we hit a big lull for me after Breeders' Cup, and it starts to pick up, in the next couple of months and leads into, one of my favorite days of the year, which is, not just the race, but the day of the Kentucky Derby. So certainly some good preps and some good racing this weekend. Looks like Santa Anita is going to make a shift to Sunday and Monday, but that's all right. Still good racing, and hey, something to do on a Monday while in the office. So that works for me.
Yeah, that does work. That won't be bad to have a little bit of racing, extra racing action. So you're a Race Lens power user. You have gone through the database and pulled some relevant stats for the Gotham and for the Fountain of Youth. We're going to start off talking about the Fountain of Youth. We'll head to South Florida. The big question of the race, really, in many ways, is Speakeasy going to go in here, or is he going to go in the allowance race that he's entered in on Friday? I've actually tried to back channel and get info. There's no info. This is truly a game time decision. So it could go either way. I'm hoping he goes in the Fountain of Youth. We're going to talk as if he's going in the Fountain of Youth, but do know there's a possibility that he will not. If he goes in the Fountain of Youth, you've pulled the stat. It's funny. I using another program, pulled a less thorough version of this. I like the way you've pulled it here with Race Lens, the way that they enable you to parse the stats. Talk us through what you're seeing when you took a look at Todd Pletcher with a last race maiden winner heading into a graded stake.
Yeah, so like you said, not sure which race this horse will go in, but I think this is more of an evergreen stat, something to think about with Pletcher making this move in general, going from a maiden win to a graded stake. It's something I like to look at just in general to see how good is a trainer that makes this move in terms of placing these horses at the next level, in terms of their judgment of what they think of the horse moving forward. Again, just Pletcher seems to struggle, right? Single digit win percentage, small sample, 14 starts. But again, when you see Ortiz and you see Pletcher together, it's connections. It's connections that, the public's going to go for. And I was curious to see what that move looks like. And it hasn't been good. The ROI to me is terrible at negative 51%. He's 0 for 3 this month, just kind of an FYI if you're looking at recency on this as well. So that's one that I pulled here of just looking at more on a negative standpoint if Speakeasy does go. So in the Fountain of Youth, I am going to pick on Pletcher and the Ortiz brothers as a whole here, but this is more of a negative when you look at Speakeasy for the Fountain of Youth.
I agree. And just to make it clear, obviously, you're not going to have a higher than your baseline rate win as a trainer doing something this difficult. But these numbers are particularly notable, I think, given how successful Pletcher is. I pulled the stat another way. I think I looked at it just 3-year-olds on dirt over the last 5 years. So it made a much smaller sample. That was still just like 2 for 17 or something. I mean, this is a very, very hard thing to do, even for a master conditioner like Pletcher. Throw in the pace dynamics here with this horse stretching out and other speed in the race. And I think it led us both to the same horse, Matt, and we'll see that one listed on the next slide.
Yeah, and it's one of those a little bit of Captain Obvious here, but I don't know. In my kind of circle of horse players, seemingly to be against Lock a bit, maybe the last race showed him something they didn't like. To me, I just disagree. I think this is a horse. I don't think you're going to get much value in the win pools within the race. I think this is a multi-race horse that I certainly will lean on. So again, beat up a bit on Pletcher in the last one. We'll give him a little bit of praise here. Again, taking this to the level of where you can be as specific as you want, right? And you can go, as we've done in other ones, Pete, we've gone very broad and then kind of brought it in and tighten it up. You know, if you look at Pletcher going a mile and 16th specifically at Gulfstream Park, 2 to 6 month layoff over the last year, 157 starts, 31% of them winners. So, I mean, to me, that's a awesome clip in terms of winners here with a nice sample size. And then you take that even a step further. If you look at, you know, Gulfstream Park, mile and 16th, horses with the best late pace specifically for this type of race on the dirt. You know, over a year, 206 starters, 34% winners, and basically flat on the ROI. So again, another nice big sample, very high win percentage. To me, I think those are two things I like to see. Pletcher doing it well at this distance. The general stat showing a horse coming from off the pace. You know, the last couple of weeks with this stat as well. Again, I like to show recency, how it's trending. 35% in the win column, a very nice positive 23% ROI. So you're certainly making some money there. And comes in with a 106 late pace rating on Race Lens too. So you can actually see that the early, middle, and late pace. It's the only horse in the race that has a triple-digit late pace figure. So again, that's something to be noted. Again, I'm with Locked here. I think these stats help me solidify that. But yeah, some nice additions to support what I think is going to be a relatively short price in the Fountain.
I'll make an obvious point that I like Locked even better with Speakeasy in the race to help set it up for him. But as these numbers show, plenty to like just sort of in isolation when it comes to Locked. I'm wearing my Aqueduct winter sweater. Let's talk about one of the first big races of the year at the Big A. It's the Gotham Stakes, your nightcap on Saturday. And this was a race where I kept gravitating towards a deterministic as a potential one. We talk about that in the other video with JK, but I thought you pulled a really interesting stat here. Talk us through this one. And again, it has some of that evergreen veneer on it as well.
Yeah, you're right. It's more kind of general statistics and then kind of gets a little bit more specific. And I like that. Again, you hear me say this a lot, but you start kind of wide and then you start to really drill down and you find some connections, you find some other things that might work more specifically. So that's where the real value comes from, right? We're not telling you how to fish. We're telling you, here's the lake. You find the best spots you want to go to. You grab the stuff that you feel is necessary from the store to go out and do it. So that's kind of the way I look at it here, you know, looking at specifically Aqueduct dirt routes projected on the lead. This is something that I watch from time to time, specifically at Aqueduct as you head into the winter. You do see this track start to change and be very favorable to the front end. Again, 371 starts, 28% wins, and a very nice positive 11% ROI. So again, another nice sample, nice win percentage, double-digit ROI on just the general statistic of those horses that hit the front end in dirt routes. I also thought too, this is one that I look at, and this is the part of Race Lens where you can get very specific in detail when it comes to workouts. I feel like I've gotten like halfway through what it offers on workouts. That's one of my projects for this year is to dig more deep into it. But just on a general sense of like, okay, those quick workouts, what does that say in terms of a horse's ability coming into the next race? It seems obvious, but again, over 1,100 races over the last year, 26% wins and a negative 13% ROI. You know, to me, and that's in the last 7 days. You're looking at a bullet workout, 5 furlongs, again, short period of time within 7 days, leading up to the race. I thought those were very, very good numbers there. Again, falling in line with the number 12 slider here. And then to top it off, I thought looking at a sire stat that, again, are readily available on the past performance page as you scroll down. And you can also click on the research tab if you want to dig a little bit deeper, not only into every sire, every dam in the race, but also you can click on the past performances of every sire and dam. So you can continue to click. It can be 3 hours later. I understand that, but you will get to that point where you get a really good sense for some of these sires and dams that you're working with. But Jimmy Creed, first route, 29% wins, positive 28% ROI. To me, that's really nice coming into this race. So again, I think Slider will take some money, but I think we'll be a little bit not necessarily odds on, certainly not, but I think we'll be a decent price with Lascano aboard here in the Gotham.
8-1 on the morning line for Slider, and there's so much to unpack with all that you just laid out. But I love the multifaceted nature of the Race Lens tool. the fact that there's a pace projector in there, the fact that you can look at late pace numbers, the extra research you can do, the information about breeding. I mean, frankly, when I hear you go through this and give a stat like that Jimmy Creed first route stat, Matt, makes me realize I need to be using RaceLens even more than I already am, because there are so many different, I don't want to call them bells and whistles because they're much more fundamentally helpful than bells and whistles, but this is a lot more than just a standard past performance product. One thing I will say, it's interesting to me that the algorithm projects this horse on the lead. I get it. Slider does have the fastest late pace figures, but keep in mind, just a touch, 2 gates to the inside, stretch out speed. I'm assuming that's the runner who's going to make the lead in this spot, but that's picking nits, really, because the fact of the matter is Slider is a horse with speed that has all these other things to recommend. You know, like I said, I landed on deterministic in this spot, but you're making me definitely include Slider. And that's one thing in general that trainer stats are great for. They can help you find reasons to bet against favorites. They can help you find reasons to include long shots. That's what these stats are doing for me. Matt, we're going to be back in the next few weeks with a couple of more evergreen type videos digging into RaceLens stats. Also going to be previewing more Triple Crown prep races. So folks should get on and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Please do that. Drop us a note in the comments. Let us know if there's an area you want to research. Let us know who you think is going to win the Fountain of Youth and the Gotham. We want to hear from you. Drop it in the comments. Matt will be back soon. Until the next time, may you win all your photos.